up, guys, and welcome back to the Indy Sooner and the JP and Trav show. It's your boy JP, as always, and to the right of me, I have my buddy Trav Skull, newly minted OU 247 member. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But Trav, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm great. I'm great. Yeah, it's been fun. Just got back from the FC Tulsa game. They ended up tying 2-2. Did radio from there all day, and then I'll be doing radio Friday, radio Saturday. Staying busy, man.
Yeah, you are in your busy season now, and that's one thing that I know I'm probably going to start off with is just before we get into the game, obviously a little bit in dissecting that. What was the atmosphere like, pregame? Because obviously I know that you guys were out on the corner doing your thing, and you were in. I texted you. You were in all black. I thought you was gonna be. I mean, I thought it was hot then. Then obviously we find out how hot it was in the stadium, and now I'm thinking, man, you was wearing all black. You had to be burning up. But anyways, how was the atmosphere?
Nah, it was great. You know what? I was wearing all black, but I hydrate. Hydrate. Hydration starts the day before. So drink lots of water. All y'all that'll be at the games, drink lots of water the day before. Drink like 10 bottles of water the day before, minimum. And then drink when you start waking up, everything like that. I promise you, it will make a world of difference. I know there's a lot of pride in waking up and slamming beers or waking up with mimosas, waking up Bloody Marys. I get it. Do it. Do those things. But also have a water. My mother always said, have a drink, then have a water. Have a drink, then have a water. Now, I don't always do that, but it's good advice. It's good advice. It's good advice. So, it was great, man. I think we gave out over 1,200 KREF koozies at the campus corner setup. Tons of people through. Tons of people tune in for the game or for the pregame and postgame. It was a blast, man. A lot of great energy. We had two setups. We had the setup at Balfour and we had the setup in the parking lot. Really, really cool. This Saturday, Jackson Arnold will be joining Parker Thune for the pregame show. He'll be live in Campus Corner. Jackson Arnold will. And if Jackson Arnold's going to be there, guess who else might be there? Who also is going to be on a visit? Got any guesses, JP?
Man, a guy that's trying for whatever reason right now. He's committed to that school that's about 2.5 hours north of where I am right now in South Bend, Indiana. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Peyton Bowen.
Yep, he will be in town. So I believe David Hicks is confirmed too. So it does look like we will have 3 5-stars in tow, 2023 5-stars. So could have an opportunity to have a big time weekend. Jordan Raynaud, obviously, on his official visit. But you guys need to come through come through the remote, come through the pregame show, get yourself a view of old Jackson Arnold on radio. Tune in if you can't be there. That'll be a good interview. Parker's a great interview anyways, so he's going to do a great job with Jackson, a guy that he speaks with regularly. So, so that's what's going on in my world. What's up with you, man? Got a 6-month-old.
Yeah. Maya's 6 months old today, which is crazy. I can't believe she's already half a year old. So that's what's been going on with me, and our sports here are kicking up like most. I'm an athletic director, and so we don't have the school I have. We don't have football. We have basically everything else, but we're not big enough to have football. The biggest sport we do have, as far as like events go, though, is cross country. And so in September we go on a run where we host 4 big cross country meets. I'm talking 350 to 400 athletes on our campus.
Was that a cross country pun to say that you go on a run of all these track meets?
It wasn't, but I'm gonna use that now. I'm gonna use that. But no, our first one's tomorrow. So I've been prepping Today all day I was prepping, and tomorrow I'll start getting things ready because right after school, basically everybody's rolling in. So I'm at a K through 12 school, so this is the elementary, junior high meet, which those end up being the biggest because you got grandparents, great grandparents coming. So we have 300, 400 athletes on top of their parents, and so we have a lot of people there. It's a great moneymaker for us. But anyways, that's where my eyes have been for the most part this week. But excited to get back here on the JP and Trav show and talk a little Sooner football. And finally, we're back to game time talks, like talking about breaking down games. For so long, I felt like we were breaking down so many other things, which we had fun with. But I feel like we're getting back to our roots and our niche. When we started about a year ago, we were doing this. So let's get right into it. Why don't we?
And I appreciate all y'all that made it through the off season with us, that
Yes.
tuned in every week when we were talking about recruiting or drama or whatever. Whether we were talking about baseball, when we were talking about softball, whatever. Appreciate all you guys that made it through the off season with us. Obviously, we see the off season numbers dip and then pick right back up as people consume crazy amounts of content during the season. So appreciate you guys for sticking it out with us. All right.
1,000%. Absolutely. All right. Hey, we're 1-0. We obviously, everybody saw we won against UTEP. Now, here's the question, and I know I may have to go back and listen. And I want you guys, anybody who was there last week, if you guys remember our score predictions, throw them in the chat so me and Trav can throw it up here so we can remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. Do you remember yours? Your score prediction?
I think I was 52-7.
52-7. I think I was like 48-7, something like that. So I mean, I don't think either of us were too far off. You were a touchdown away. I was 3 points and extra touchdown, whatever. But 45-13, drubbing. The 32 points is drubbing. I had to tell my sister that. She's like, she was up here with my mom. They were visiting for Amaya, and we all got to watch Amaya's first Sooner game together. And Grace is like, I expected more. I thought they were going to. I was like, Grace, they won by 32 points. We covered. What are you talking about?
Expected more what?
That's what I said. I was like, we won by 30. I said, we won by basically 5 scores. Why are you tripping? So
here's the thing. I think why a lot of people may have been disappointed about some things was it was extremely vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely vanilla. We didn't see a single blitz that I noticed.
Nope.
So didn't see a single blitz. And we were told, oh, this Venables defense, man, they're known for these exotic blitzes, for coming all over the place, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, yeah, we were playing UTEP. We don't want to show our hand. We've got a good Kansas State team opening up our conference play the week after Nebraska. We've got a road trip to Nebraska we've got to pay attention to. If all goes well with our offense and everything, we might be able to pack it in and keep it vanilla all the way to Texas. Who knows? I think we probably go full all out on Kansas State. But regardless, it's all vanilla. It's not supposed to jump out. What did jump out, though, was physicality, tackling, and getting after the quarterback. 6 sacks, 9 tackles for a loss, rotating a ton of guys, gang tackling. There were times I looked up and 10 red jerseys were around the ball carrier. Big stuff like that. Offense gets out to a 21-0 lead with 6.5 minutes left in the first quarter. 15 plays got us a 21-point lead. You can say what you want about wearing out the defense, but spot me a 21-point lead in every game we play this year, and I think we'll be all right.
Facts. And the homie Trap House, as he's talking about here, feels a lot better than we did last year, because week 1 last year we felt like we almost dropped one to Tulane, and at no point were we really worried. I mean, some people were worried when it was 21-10, and they started having PTSD, whatever. But it's new staff, and we saw it pretty early. And like you said, man, the tackling. I remember I was on the phone with my friend he's a Michigan State fan, one of my best friends who lives not 15 minutes from me in Indy. And he's a betting man, so He asked me before the game, should I take Oklahoma on this money line? I said yes, you should. Last year I would have said absolutely not because we didn't cover. We don't cover. I was like, this gets changing. I promise you. So he's like, all right. And so, it's 21-0. He's like, hey, this is what I'm talking about. And then he starts talking about like, okay, now I'm talking about the score. Right now it's looking in the 70s. Like, should I take that? And I was like, I mean, the way it's going, dog, you might need to. And so, anyways, all that to say, when I was on the phone with him, I don't know who made the play, but it was over on the maybe left or right sideline. I think Jaden Davis had grabbed the guy's legs, and then Danny Sussman, somebody else, just came over and top and absolutely rammed the dude. And it was just like, man, I don't know the last time I had seen that from a Sooner-led team. And it was like we've been talking about, just physicality, and you can tell that they've been being physical in practices, and it showed on the field.
Yeah, and people are mentioning some penalties. Absolutely. Don't get it twisted. The reason the second half or the second quarter went the way it did was we kept extending drives or killing our drives with penalties, dumb penalties. And when you do that, it messes with your flow. There's nothing like being amped up as a defense, getting a stop on a third down or even a fourth down, having that emotion kind of just let out of you, and then you see a flag. Now you've got to get all amped up for a new set of downs. It's 1st and 10 for the offense again. Just all that hard work you just did was thrown out because of a mistake. So that's why I don't think anything needs to be fixed. I think things need to be just cleaned up. Just clean up the penalties. What I liked was a lot of the penalties were being aggressive. I mean, we did have a false start penalty on. We had 2 of them actually.
Two on the goal line.
Yeah, well, we had one offensive line, and then we had Marvin Mims had a false start penalty as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, and Jacob Major brings up the 2.5 yards after catch per reception. Billy Bowman. I don't know how many of you guys have seen the Men in Black with Johnny Knoxville, and he's got like the other Johnny Knoxville head coming out of his neck. That's basically what Billy Bowman was the entire game. He was basically attached to the guy that caught the ball at all times. I mean, he's coming downhill. There is no yards after catch. He is dropping you as soon as you catch it. Naturally, you want him to get there maybe a little bit earlier, break it up maybe, but there's none of this, there's none of this unsure tackling. There's none of this, try and hit the ball out while the guy's running down 20, 30 yards down the field. No. Physical hitting, and it was just it was really, really good, and it was solid.
Speaking of Billy Bowman, he's gonna house one this year. Like,
correct.
You can just tell. He took one out, I think 5 yards deep, and he got plus yardage. And that was 1 or 2 yards, but still,
yeah, it was to the 27 where he took it down the right side closest to the home side.
Just some of the cuts that he made, you think, man, if he catches that on the goal line, or 3 or 4 yards into the field, who knows? Like, you can just see the electricity in there. And this is not how I am. You guys know, Trav and I, we take tasteful shots at USC, but we're not over here just dogging on them all the time. But for what everybody said Mario Williams was supposed to be explosively, that's how I feel Billy Bowman is explosively, truthfully. Like, and again, not that Mario Williams isn't explosive at all. He is, obviously. But, like, I didn't get that feeling as much as I do from Billy Bowman, seeing him touch the ball. Like, man, you could just see it from him. And so, obviously, we talked a little bit about the defense. Offense, let's talk about that for a little bit. I thought they did well. Obviously, offensive line, I listened to Gabe and Teddy this week. I know Gabe wasn't too happy You know, and hopefully that continues to get better. It seems like McCabe Tower may be a little bit hurt at the left guard position. We'll see what they end up doing there. But I did want to talk about Gavin Freeman, that reverse. That was amazing. And Braden Willis, I mean, that guy may have been the best player on the field
Braden
offensively.
Willis was the player of the game. It's not even close. You might be able to take away one of his touchdowns, and he's still the player of the game. Because you think about it, before the game starts, he's got the leadership aspect of leading the team and the chant during the stretches. He's got that. He's the emotional and vocal leader that I'm not sure I was expecting coming into the season. At least we didn't discuss it a lot. But he catches the touchdown. The next drive down, so he was the second touchdown, right? And then the next drive down, he's lead blocking for the dream run of local walk-on Gavin Freeman. He seals the edge, and then he gets upfield and risks a block in the back. Not that he got just risks one, but to lay out to try and get that last block to spring him to the end zone. You can tell a lot about a player by how willing he is to block. That's one thing we always liked about our wide receivers. Jaden Hazelwood was an incredible downfield blocker. CeeDee Lamb was an incredible downfield blocker. Kenny Stills, one of his most famous plays, was coming across the field against Texas and springing a touchdown. So after that, he scores another touchdown, right? Makes a man miss. And then after the game, while everything's all emotional, everything like that, he's the one that shouts out, "I'd run through a wall for you, coach." He's, he could not have been more impressive. And he's going to help his draft stock immensely. He's going to kill every interview. He's got the size, and he's going to have the production if this keeps up. He's already matched his whole season total last year in touchdowns in one half of football this year.
Yep.
And it's scary. Yep. But Bowman, back to Bowman a little bit. I know it's special teams, but when he was coming out of high school, he was ranked as, one of the top athletes in the country. He played offense, defense, and return kicks at Denton Ryan. And the talk was, the kid's a playmaker. We just got to get him on the field. Whether it's offense or defense, we got to get him on the field. Well, you have a playmaker that returns at a high level in high school, and the previous staff refused to let him return. Now you're seeing what we could have been seeing all the last year. Let the kid loose, man. Let him off his leash, as a Baker t-shirt designer would say. Let him off the leash. Let him go run, and he is going to house one. This is also a guy that is going to have pick sixes. It's just simple as that. He is built to make plays, and he's going to make a ton of them this year because he'll be in longer in the games, right? Because
100%.
when you look at not rotating in all the freshmen and all the threes and everything like that, as we have closer games, he will be called on more frequently.
Yeah. No, like we've talked about. I mean, I can't understate it or overstate enough. How special Billy Bowman has looked and will continue to look, and everything we've seen. I mean, he almost had that. We saw in the summer from an OU football video during camp a one-handed interception. Almost had a replica of that on Saturday. So close.
Almost. I do want to address Jimmy's kind of comment here. Said, I didn't like him returning the ball 8 yards in the end zone. I get it. It's a risky play. But what it does is it puts the pressure on the return team to consistently have to cover. These return teams in 2022, nobody returns kicks. So these special teams units are out of practice. They are not expecting a return. And he got past the 25. He was effective. And the upside is there. He's not going to get stopped at the 4. I will sacrifice maybe one of these days he's caught at the 12. Okay, cool. Well, I'll take that 13 yards on that one drive in exchange for all of the ones he's going to break, because he is going to give us plus field position 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10 maybe. It's just a difference of strategy. It's, do you want the guaranteed 25, or, do you want to gamble a little bit? So
Yeah.
it puts the pressure on them. It makes them be physical, and it allows for your own guys to go be physical back. These guys have been chomping at the bit to hit somebody. You could tell on the second kickoff, he kicked it low solely so our guys could go hit somebody because they've been
Yeah.
pent up. So with that, it's let them go hit people, man.
Yeah.
We're more, if you're more physical and more talented, you're gonna break them.
Yep. And that's where we're at right now. Even with the vanilla, like we talked about, it's just about, can you be more physical than the team across from you? And we'll start to see schemes as we get into the season. Now, obviously, with the prompt we have up here, offensive and defensive MVPs. Braden Willis was obviously offensively, and defensively sounds like Billy Bowman for you. And I'd probably go that way. You could probably say Reggie Grimes. You could potentially even say somebody could say Danny Stutzman, although you wish he would have housed that one if he got that in his hands. It probably would have been a pick six. But he had 9 tackles, was all over the field as well. And so we had really solid offensive and defensive performances. Guys in the chat, if you guys have your own offensive and defensive MVPs, go ahead and put them in here. And as Trav and I start to transition to the next prompt, I'll put them up on the screen.
Yep.
Trav, is there anybody else you would put out there for offense or defense?
I definitely think you brought up a good point with Reggie Grimes. I think his most impressive play to me, granted, he has the motor. He looks massive out there. He looks, look human out. He looks massive. So
Massive.
it was great seeing him get to the quarterback. Of course, sacks, name of the game. But something that doesn't show up in the stat sheet is when he was coming. We were defending the south end zone. He was coming. It was probably they were probably at their own 25-ish, and their quarterback backs up. He wants to throw a screen pass out to his right, closest to the home sideline. Reggie gets outside and backs up and does one of these numbers and doesn't let him throw it, and the quarterback has to throw it into the ground. That's the type of play. If he's too aggressive, he dumps it right over the top of him, and that's picking up probably a first down because there wasn't a lot behind him. But he had the wherewithal to stay back, sniff it out, and totally shut it down. Those are the plays that really impressed me because I wouldn't say it's easy. When you're a physical specimen like him and you can just win a matchup by your physicality, it's easy to pin your ears back and just try and go get the quarterback. But to balance the aggression with the smarts to back it up and be light on your feet and try and defend a pass.
I think we may be losing Trav a little bit with the.
No.
Yeah, I don't know that we heard. At least personally for me, I'm not sure that I heard anything you just said. And maybe on the stream too, that you were frozen. So hopefully, hopefully can get him back, get Trav back in the fold. But
all right, you got me back.
I got you back. We do.
All right, I switched over to my own phone's hotspot. For some reason, my Wi-Fi is tripping out a little bit, but we're back. So, anyways, Gunny hit us with the Braden Willis, Gavin Freeman. Nice.
Yeah, and ultimately, like you said, I think Reggie Grimes, the way he looks, that's going to be a defensive lineman that will go first round if he continues to progress like that. Like, I think he has that type of talent, and he looks like that, which would be our first is Gerald McCoy to go in the first round, which would be pretty cool. Now, I did want to, before we move on real quick, I did want to get your thoughts because I know I know that we said we want to wait and see, but what did you think about Marcus Major? How do you feel like he looked?
I think he's the clear goal line answer. Um, I think from your own goal line to the opposition's 20, you go with Eric Gray or Javante Barnes. And
Hmm.
then in the red zone, you bring the old beefy boy in to handle the business because he looks strong, he looks powerful, and I think he's your goal line back for this season. I will say that Eric Gray did add a little bit of muscle. You can tell he ran the ball well, averaged great yards per carry, and Javante Barnes got in there, and Javante Barnes, he popped. He looks good. Like he
He
looks
looked
really
good.
good.
He
Yeah.
he had the Billy Bowman type feeling I was talking about. He had that type of feeling too. It's like, man, you could just see it. It's like slick out the backfield. I 100% agree.
Yeah, it
All
looks
right,
different. But yeah, I'll give Majors due.
he looked good. He
Absolutely.
looked good. He's physical, and I think he could be that change of pace back, a la And I don't think he's as shifty as Trey Sermon was, but in that Trey Sermon type of role,
Mhm.
that we saw late game. I mean, can you imagine after the tempo and everything, you get in the third and fourth quarter, and you got to see Marcus Major with the way he runs? I
Mhm.
don't know about that, man. You can sign me up and send me out, in my opinion. All right, hey, let's talk a little bit about you, man. Grill boy, as you so uh, awesomely put it. You obviously put out your first post on OU Insider 247, so congrats on that. Talk to us a little bit about that. And for those of you who don't know, the whole grill boy thing, let me speak that for just 1 second. We got people over on Sooner Scoop that are just trifling haters that want to do nothing, but talk about Travis like he's some random person that has not worked hard to get where he's at, hasn't made connections. That he's just some random dude off the street that's getting gifted things and that he doesn't deserve it. And they call it one
Or
of the things
or
they call him.
or that I'm buying
Go
it,
ahead.
that I'm trading
Oh
food and
yeah,
and money
yeah.
for access.
Yeah, exactly. And so they call him Grill Boy, which is just disrespectful. Like, he owned 3 restaurants. He's over here cooking, $100 plus steaks for your football team, but you want to be salty about it. So I take offense to that because Trav's like he's my brother, and I don't like people talking about him like that. So anyway, it pissed me off. Regardless of that, it is amazing that he literally flipped it. It says cooking with Grill Boy on 247, and he gives us a full course meal about the game the week before, and then he gives us the prep for the next game. I mean, I could not have smiled bigger today seeing that. But anyways, Trav, tell us a little bit about your venture at 247 Sports and what we can expect moving forward.
Yeah, shout out to our friends of the show, Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, Brian Bishop, Helmer, all those guys over there. They approached me about doing a kind of a weekly piece from a fan's perspective, and I do 10 points from the previous game, and I do 5 as we look ahead to the next game, and nothing too detailed about scheme or anything, this, that, or the other. Um, but it's more like just observations, like the student section. What are we going to do about the student section? I get it was hot, and everybody else. This game we're giving people a pass. But in other games, overtime against Army, student section's empty. Like one score games all last year, student section is empty. Like
Yeah,
so stuff like that. Stuff like um, you know, the post game handoff from Joe Castiglione to Brent Venables and this, that, and the other. So, anyways, just not your typical collection of stats and this, that, and the other. So, do 10 of those and then 5 looking ahead. and looks like we will be doing them every week. So I guess I'm officially an OU Insider staffer now. I don't know if they're going to let me have crystal ball permissions, but if they do, it's gonna get wild. It's gonna get wild. I'm gonna get crazy. I'm gonna be official 247 crystal balls. So yeah. So appreciate all you guys in the chat because support of this channel, support of anything social always helps me do that kind of stuff. So yeah. So yeah, it's been fun.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I text you, bro. Like it was not again, like all jokes aside with the title, like the content was great. And I know you well enough that I literally read it how you would say it. like like some of the jokes in there, I was like, that sounds like something you would say. Like but it was just great. And I hope that, other people get to, see who you are and get your sense of humor through this. I think it's gonna be amazing for you, bro. And I couldn't be prouder and happier for you for real.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hey, if you guys need to read it, go ahead and join 247 OU Insider VIP. Always got deals going on over there. So give that a join, and you can give my debut article a read. So what's next?
Yes, sir. All right. Hey, next, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about game week. Okay, you guys know we're in that season now. We're going to continue to preview games and everything like that. And so we got Kent State this weekend on ESPN Plus. It's going to be 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. for your boy over here on the Eastern Time Zone. We'll talk about score prediction, but I also wanted to talk obviously a little bit just about what we can expect from Kent State, and I'll just say, I watched a little bit of the Washington and Kent State game this past weekend, and Kent State's not a terrible team. Again, obviously it's a team we're going to expect to beat, just like we expect to beat UTEP, but it's not going to be a Missouri State in 20. What'd you say?
I said, see you, Tommy.
Oh, it's not going to be a Missouri State in 2020 type of game necessarily, where they have no business even trying to sniff the field necessarily. Kent State, they have a decent team, and so we're going to have to make sure that we cross our T's, dot our I's, and everything like that. Obviously, expecting to win big, but I was impressed with some of the things they did against Washington. Obviously, Washington ended up beating 45-20, everything like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see a night game and to see what the boys do again this week and how they continue to stack weeks as Coach Venables talks about. What about you, man?
Yeah, so this team hails from the MAC. They were in a bowl game last year. They won their bowl game last year. It's easy to disrespect them a little bit because a team from the MAC shouldn't compete heavily with a team like Oklahoma. But you will need to actually cover. Like this team gets out and throws the ball. Their offense is big time, and I mean that's why I think like a 14 score by them is probably the answer. I hope they don't have a field goal kicker as good as UTEP did. That boy, 48-yarder, worm burner, about this high off the ground, but somehow got over the upright. Then
Crazy.
The 54-yarder late in the game.
That was a bomb.
Impressive stuff. Very impressive stuff. We need to put him in the transfer portal. Not to say I don't like Schmidt. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's great. He said he's comfortable from 60. So I hope we never have to find out, but eventually we will. So we will see about that. But Kent State's good again. If given the how do I say this? So if given the option between showing a bit of our hand of what our defense can do from a blitzing standpoint, from an exotic blitz standpoint, different formations, different looks, different this, that, and the other. I would rather give up more points than try for a shutout against Kent State. Just if it means sacrificing our looks. Does that make sense? So it's like
Yeah.
I'd rather give up 21 to Kent State and look completely vanilla as opposed to shut out Kent State because we, just poured on everything that we could do. So I think 48-14 is my final score.
48-14. Mark it down. That's Trav's final score. I'm going to go a little higher than that. I'm gonna say 50. I'm gonna go 56, and I'm gonna go 7. Now, if we get up to that type of point, you never know. You got backups and everything like that. They could have a late score. But I wonder if we start to see more of the traditional Red Venables defense this week as they prepare for Nebraska. Necessarily, having to go through game situations, and what better way to do that than against an actual other team necessarily. So obviously, I know they're not going to look ahead to Nebraska. Like Red Venables said, they're focused on Kent State. But yeah, man, I mean, like you said, in all reality, I feel like UTEP's a better team than Kent State. And, Kent State, or excuse me, UTEP, like you said, had a kicker that kicked 54 and 48-yard field goals. I mean, if he doesn't hit either of those, it's a 45-7 game on Saturday. And so, I think the defense is going to look to get better even than they were last week. I think hopefully we see some turnovers. Obviously, we didn't see it last week. In the offense, I mean, they had some miscues, some holding penalties, everything like that, false starts. Hoping that gets better and you start to see a little bit more consistency. And again, the fact that they weren't hitting on all cylinders, and we still scored the way we did for the most part, I think is pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like I had a brain fart. Encouraging. There you go. It's pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think I'm gonna go 56 to 7.
That's big time. So
That's generous.
Mr. Greg Savage says, do you guys feel the last game's defensive scheme was a way to test the defense, see how they would react to adversity and strain? I don't think so. I think it was very much just be vanilla, stick to the basics. We can win this game with the basics. And the way you win the game with the basics is being highly, highly fundamentally sound and hitting really hard.
Yep.
Having gap discipline, hitting hard, not letting anything get behind you. Billy Bowman didn't let a damn thing get behind him. I don't even think they attempted a deep ball against us.
Yeah.
So keep everything in front, shut it down, get out of there with a big time win, let your offense do the work. And that's something I'm actually going to be watching. What do we do with the pace of the offense? Now, a lot of people say, well, we went too fast. We scored too fast. Our defense was gassed, blah, blah, blah. I know this is a popular take that you can score too quickly. I am in the opposite camp. I think score as quick as you can every time because we're deep, so that's fine. You can still develop talent, or develop depth, but also we ran 15 plays, and after those 15 plays, we were up 21-0 with 6 minutes and 36 minutes left in the first quarter. So if you tell me every single game we play, we will be up 21-0, or at least have 21 points in the first 8 minutes of the game, sign me up for that. Tell me where to sign. Give me a Sharpie. Give me a big one of those king markers. Those, and I will sign it because I might need a stamp so I can sign it even quicker. And because that's the thing. You want to score. You want to score quickly. So I think if the defense doesn't, and Venables even said this, he said, look, the defense's job doesn't change. Go out there and stop them. Doesn't matter what the score is, doesn't matter what the pace is, doesn't matter anything like that. Go out and stop them. So I think they continue to keep the pedal to the metal, see how quickly they can score, see if they can score in 13 plays, see if they can score 21 points in 13 plays and get that defense, shut them out quick, take their soul, and move on to Nebraska. So I think they go quickly, but I do think it's a 48, which would be a slight improvement, 48-14.
Yep, I think I'm good with either of those. And again, people probably freak out. Not hopefully not, but 48-14 winning against 34 points. I'm not that is nothing to gaff at. We are playing a Division One FBS team. It's not like it's a FCS team or whatever else, and one that won a bowl game last year at that. So that says what it needs to say. Hey, just wanted to say really quick, guys. We had a paper in the Oklahoma Post that reached out to us, and they wanted us to use our platform to share about them a little bit, but also, they wanted to give out some tickets to fans. So you saw on Twitter today, I put out, a couple things I need you to do. Again, there's just a free press paper that just wants to get out news unfiltered through any lens or anything like that. They just want to get out news fresh to people, and that's their MO. So again, hopefully you've given them a follow and everything like that for all any news updates you need. But that being said, we had a couple of people that entered the sweepstakes and everything like that. And so I said I was going to announce it live. So we're going to do that really quick. And hopefully you guys are in here watching. If not, then I will, DM you either way, and we'll get things ready to go. But I got the randomized number on my phone for the amount of people we have in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, and I will announce the winner. Okay, and the winner is, let me pull my notes up here, Taylor Pavey, at Taylor Pavey.
Let's go. He was in the chat earlier.
He was in the chat. I did see him. So, Taylor Pavey, congratulations. DM me if you're in here. Go ahead and throw some in the chat. We'll put you up here. Otherwise, go ahead and DM me, and I'll make sure we can get everything to you. But congratulations, Taylor Pavey. You got 2 tickets to this Saturday's Kent State versus Oklahoma game. Pretty good seats. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're in section like 23. So they're pretty decent seats. I think you and whoever you take with you are going to have a good time. Apologize to everybody else who got in the sweepstakes. I know they mentioned to me they do want to do more giveaways through us potentially in the future. So there will be some other opportunities for you guys. But congratulations to Taylor. Hope you guys have a great time this weekend. If you can't go, let me know, and I may be reaching out to somebody else if he may not be able to go. You never know. Maybe you can get the second win. Okay. That being said, let's get to our patented game.
Let's get to it.
You guys know it. We play it every week. We're going to have a prompt up here. We're going to have 2 different things. You guys go ahead and do it with us in the chat. Tell us what you think. Give you a little dissertation, okay? All right, first one. Sterling Shepard or Ryan Broyles? Trav.
I'm going to go with the nostalgic pick. And as tough as this is, and his record-setting career was fantastic, his real estate career is off to quite the jump. I'm going with Sterling Shepard. Simply because, he had the story of his upbringing around the team with his dad passing, and then one of my favorite games of all time OU's really return and the start of the Baker Mayfield era, when Shep pulled the ballerina move on the sideline to score that, had a big game. And then Shep came by the post-game show after the spring game and came on radio, and Ryan hasn't done that yet. So there you go, Shep.
Shep. This is interesting to me. I think that Shepard, clearly Sterling has been the better pro player. But I think Ryan Broyles, in my opinion, was undoubtedly the better college player. You might throw that out to longevity and everything like that. Sterling Shepard had moments, and I think that maybe that's what it could come down to, is moments, right? That you can remember in student history. But Ryan Broyles, at one point in time, was all-time leading receptions leader, in NCAA history. And so that in itself is an incredible accomplishment.
And you know who beat it? You know who beat it? Some hack that Lincoln Riley was coaching at East Carolina.
You're right.
We should have known.
Should have known.
It was right there under our noses. It was right there under our noses.
Just let it go.
Trying to tear down OU records even then.
Evil. Truly. But yeah, I personally would go Ryan Broyles. I love Sterling Shepard. I hope he has a great year. I mean, he just hasn't been able to get away from the injury bug with the Giants. But they love him so much they've kept him. That I think that's a testament to who he is as a player. That he's had the injuries he's had, but the Giants, he's been there forever. Still, they haven't gotten rid of him or anything like that. So yeah, I go Broyles, but I don't think you can go wrong with this one. Both are great players, great receivers in OU history, without doubt. Okay. I feel like this is an easy one, but I don't know. I came up with it at the last second. So, would you rather have a PPR fantasy league or just a regular scoring fantasy league?
PPR. It's harder, in my opinion. You've got to prioritize different things. You might have, like a James White situation where, he might catch a bunch out of the backfield, not have a ton of yards or anything. But there have been games, I think, where I've had 10 points to somebody who only had like 8 yards receiving because they just kept catching the ball out of the backfield. So, yeah, and as we know, higher scores are better. So PPR makes them scores higher.
Standard league is for rookies. Kirby, you're not wrong, I guess,
Kirby, I've got you locked in at 17-14 OU. I saw that comment. 17-14 OU is what Kirby said the score is going to be.
Isn't that what he said? Yeah, we got him. We're locking that in for you, Kirby.
Locked in.
Yeah. Go ahead and bet all your money on that score right there. But yeah, no,
yes,
PPR, I go that way as well. PPR for sure. I think that when you can factor in receptions and who's going to get open, who has the opportunity to have a high reception type of season, it factors into. I mean, even as a running back, who you think as a running back, you're not just gonna. That's why Nick Chubb fell in a lot of PPR leagues I was in, because Nick Chubb is not gonna.
That's why Christian McCaffrey, despite being such an injury risk, still goes number one because he's both. He does everything.
Yep, absolutely. Amy over here is like, let's get to the food. Just we all come for. We all come for Travis's food takes. So here we are. All right, the food one. Here we go. I don't think I've done one like this. Seafood one. Salmon or catfish?
I'm going salmon. I like a nice cedar plank salmon. I like salmon dip. Salmon dip is always quite good. Yeah.
Smoked salmon dip?
Oh, yeah. And there's actually, so I go to this, so there's a food, like trade shows, like every business has trade shows, but there's this one guy at the food trade shows that does honey cured smoked salmon, and it just comes like prepackaged, like whole side of salmon. He busted open right there, and he's the most charismatic salesperson in the entire show, and it is so good. Honey cured smoked salmon, nearly impossible to beat. And I tell you what, smoked salmon as an appetizer, whew, get the smoked salmon. Got some dill, got some capers, get some bread, get you some maybe
Ooh,
like a dill cream cheese. Spread that, throw a little smoke. Tell you what, a little pickled red onion, perhaps, if you're feeling a little fancy. Now you're talking.
with pickled red onion. Looks like most of people would go with salmon. It looks like. Um, I think taste wise, and okay, I love salmon. Don't get me wrong. I think I'd rather have fried catfish. I'm a like I always told you. I know I was born in the Midwest, but I'm a Southern boy at heart. My daddy from Mississippi. My mom was born in Oklahoma, and then my parents obviously both grew up in Ardmore, and so there's a place down there in Ardmore. I don't even know if it's open anymore. Um, Dang, what was it called? It's called the Catfish Corner. I don't know if anybody in here is from Ardmore or from South Oklahoma, but Catfish Corner. We go there all the time. My family. Every time I was in Ardmore, and so I'm just like I said, Southern boy at heart as far as that goes. But yeah, I love me some good salmon too. I mean,
You
my
been to
wife
you been to
here.
you been to Hoosier Catfish?
No,
Well, somebody said Hoosier Catfish, JP.
where's that at? Oh, Jerome. Jerome he's a Hoosier. Um, Jerome, is that a spot or what are you saying? Let me know in the chat so I can understand what you mean. Um,
I
but
assume it's
yeah,
got to
no,
be somewhere in Indiana.
it's got to be. I think at Jerome,
Salmon
I think lives
burgers.
in
I don't
northern
know. I'm
Indiana.
not feeling.
I think
I'm
near
not
Fort
feeling
Wayne.
salmon burgers.
Yeah, nah, I'm good on that.
Yeah, do ground salmon, bruh.
Hello, she said we had
Catfish.
catfish once a week.
It's a, Catfish is fantastic. It's good fried, hard to beat. But I like the versatility
Yeah,
of salmon. Can do a lot with it. Salmon
salmon
cakes,
does have a
salmon
lot more
croquettes,
versatility.
grilled salmon, baked salmon, broiled salmon, smoked salmon, salmon dip. Yeah, and I sound like old Bubba from Forrest Gump.
Yeah, Forrest Gump.
Fried shrimp, baked
Anything.
shrimp, shrimp soup.
Yeah, no, Indiana does have some decent catfish. I don't know why, but it's not. Jerome, it ain't nothing like that Southern catfish, man. You know that. You know that. I look. Okay, let me be honest with y'all, and hopefully my fellow Hoosiers, Jerome, probably the only one in the chat. Again, I was born here, but I got Oklahoma in my blood. I cannot stand when Hoosiers try to act like they do barbecue or seafood well because they don't. Okay. Now it's not that it's bad. It's not bad, but they try to like. Somebody told me, "Oh man, like you know, this is the best barbecue I ever had." I'm like, okay, but it's comparatively. Like you can't just say it's the best bar. I mean, maybe in Indiana it's the best barbecue you ever had, but you must not have been through Kansas City. You ain't been to Memphis. You ain't been, to Texas. You ain't been to Oklahoma. Until you go there, you can't say it's the best thing ever. Hey, Kirby, relax. I didn't say go there.
Ho,
Don't
ho,
don't
ho,
talk
ho.
don't talk down on my home state like that. I'm just saying
Gunny,
that.
Gunny, you're talking about White River Fish Market. White River Fish
Oh,
Market.
okay. I'm at the
Jamie calling me Grill Boy.
dang.
You better capitalize that.
I know.
Salmon burgers from Reese's have the consistency of a beef burger. Then just get a beef burger.
Yeah.
Cajun seasoning on it. I'll I'll try it out. You know what also is good? Salmon BLT.
Now
Nice little sandwich
that's
there.
interesting. I've never ever
Nice little sandwich there. You should try that
heard
out
of
as
that.
long as we're in the salmon sandwich mood, thanks to Jamie.
Y'all try to salmon BOT and get back to me because I don't know about that one. It sounds interesting. I trust you. I trust your food,
Gunny, Gunny,
expertise.
Gunny's had a Gunny's had a few cocktails. Gunny, what you drinking on tonight? What you drinking? You going beer? You going some Stella Artois? Or are you
Ooh, some Stella.
yes, one of our go to
This is
trace.
facts. This is facts.
Gunny spitting nothing but facts. What you drinking, Gunny? In Waurika, Oklahoma, BV Schwartz. Woo. I'm not fishing nothing out of Grand Lake. No way, no how. You pull a fish out of Grand Lake, it's gonna have 6 eyes.
Yep.
No, thank you.
Hey, throw
Budweiser.
some questions in the chat, y'all. We got like 5 minutes or so. We'll continue to interact with y'all as we close up here. But Trav, what's your light beer of choice?
Ultra.
Jacob, you need to change that.
Ultra is my light beer of choice. It's it's
Michelob.
Yeah, that with well, unless there's Michelob Golden Draft, but that's just a northern thing, so I can't get it in Oklahoma. So, but all my Minnesotan relatives, they drink the Mick Golden Draft. It's everywhere up there. So,
Minnesotan. This is a good question. I mean, I can't think of a quarterback that he reminds me of that we've had, at least since I've been alive, or since I've been following OU football. I think he's
the
I don't
easy
know.
comparison. He's got a little bit of a lot of guys in it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think that Baker's got a bigger arm, but I think he moves like Baker does. Like Baker's extremely smooth when he runs.
Yeah.
When he pulls from his own read, fakes, everything like that, very smooth. We saw that from Dylan. Now, for those of you that have read my my Grill Boy article, interesting parallels, of course, right? So OU in 2000, our national championship year, for those of you that are new, was led by a lefty quarterback in the first game of the season, right? Josh Heupel, lefty quarterback, played the first game of the season against UTEP.
Mm-hmm.
So lefty quarterback starts against UTEP. And then the first score of the game was that lefty quarterback running in a touchdown. Coincidence starting to pile up. Now, does anybody remember? Actually, JP, do you remember who UTEP played in their week 1 matchup?
I believe it was North Texas, was it not?
Do you know who the coach is at North Texas?
Currently?
Yes.
I don't.
Seth Littrell. Seth Littrell, the former running back at Oklahoma, he ran the ball on the previous play to Josh Heupel scoring that touchdown. So you had Seth Littrell coming up short, Josh Heupel running it in for the score. This year, you have, I guess it would have been week 0, Seth Littrell beating UTEP, and then Dylan Gabriel scoring first. So it's all very interesting that Seth Littrell is still tied to the lefty first score against UTEP OU drama. Because Toby Baldwin will get mad at me.
I do think that obviously we're not talking OU quarterbacks. DG doesn't remind me a lot of Tua for a lot of different reasons.
Because he's Hawaiian? What is this, racist? It's
no.
Weird.
He's a lefty. I mean, they just feel Tua's a little bigger, but even their running style feel like it's the same. But no, I'm excited for DG though. I think he's gonna do good things. Let's see a couple more things to throw in here. Kanek did look good. I agree. When you remember when he got cut and he got back up and still got to the quarterback? Yeah.
That was impressive. That takes so much balance. I mean, and it's so much balance and strength, core strength to pull yourself back up like that. I mean, impressive stuff.
Yeah. All right. I think this is a good one to end on. Actual real question, Kirby. What's the new facility that they want to build for, and any stadium improvements he's missed out on?
I personally actually need to read a bit more on this. I know that I know it looks like they're taking over the track facility. They're building facilities for all of athletics as well as football. And I talked to one of the somebody on the OU staff. I got to think positionally. Somebody on the OU staff, and they said, I'll just go to the text messages. They said when it came to the facilities, it's happening and it's needed badly, honestly. Honestly, in the SEC, it would be bottom 4. Just the functionality of where everything is and how it works for players, it's not ideal. The biggest win is for academic services to go where we are now. That's the worst right now. We can't even show recruits, as far as can't show recruits, the academic services side. So when I think it'll be done, sooner rather than later. Anyways, yeah. So it sounds like they are listening to the staff and improving it up to the SEC standard. And yeah, so that's what I've got on it. Nothing crazy other than kind of those quotes from an OU staffer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about it though. I mean, once we start to get more details and stuff like that, I think it's going to be big for our programs. To turn the Bears Switcher Center a little bit into more of a athletic department thing. I think it'll be big for the other ones as well. Obviously, my sister being a student athlete at OU, I know she talked about that this weekend. She was excited about the potential for that and everything. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the improvements that we make as we continue to obviously head into the monster that is the SEC. I think that's a good spot to end. Everybody that's in Oklahoma able to go to the game this weekend, show up, be loud, stay the whole time. Hopefully it's not as hot as it was. It's just,
Drink water regardless.
Drink water regardless. You never know. Just have it with you. Be ready to roll. Be hydrated, ready to go. Be loud. I will be watching either with a friend. I might go over TJ's house, Trav. I don't know. We're planning it out.
Oh,
he
nice.
lives about 15 minutes from me. Or I'll be watching it with my wife, one of the two. But I'll be here cheering y'all on. Trav, I'm sure, will be in his normal spot at the game, going ham.
That's right. Find me on Campus Corner from, I believe we're 3 to 5. Yep, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Check us out on Campus Corner. We'll be on the parking lot right outside of Nompton. And then we'll be post-game at Yo Pablo. As far as the seating discussion that's being taken place, the seats will be over 100,000. I think there's a kind of a handshake agreement with the SEC that we need to be over 100,000 by the time we enter. So yes, 100,000.
Wow.
But
they're going to add that on the south end?
I could be wrong on that, but that's what I've heard. So with that, I'm hoping that the expansion is just nicer seats, not even nicer seats, but nicer concessions, nicer bathrooms, maybe some updated technology so people can go in and out more effectively. But yes, so all right. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and most of all, thanks for you guys that participated. You guys really helped drive the show.
Yes, sir. As always, we'll be back next week. Hopefully, we have another Sooner win. We'll be back here next Wednesday to talk about it. And yeah, we'll move on from there. Looking forward to Lincoln after that. Love y'all. Appreciate all y'all. Boomer.